This is the Chapter 1 guided test review with Mr. V, and I am going to be doing all of the problems. All right, so for the first one, we are just simplifying, and so we're not solving for anything, we're just going to distribute. So if I distribute those two, I get negative 20 plus 30y. Same thing with number 2. I'll get negative 48t minus negative 8 times negative 4, turn it into a positive, so it'll be plus 32t, and then negative 8 times negative 9 would be plus 72. Then I can't leave like this because I have to combine all like terms, so I do negative 48 plus 32, and that should give me a positive 16, but I'll do it in my calculator anyway. So negative 48 plus 32 is a negative 16t plus 72. All right, here we're doing 1/3. So what you can do, I'm not a big fan of fractions, so what I do is 1 divided by 3. And then, so it'll give me 0.33333, and I make it a negative. Or you can just do negative 1 divided by 3, and you'll get the same thing. And then I can multiply that by 9. That gives me negative 3 minus, I'll do the same thing, so I'll do negative 1, my calculator, divided by 3, gives me a decimal. And then I'm going to multiply that times a negative 36, and I get 12. And that's all you can do with it. All right, so solving each equation. So for the number 4, remember that this is a 2 over a 1. So if I rewrote it, it would be b over 8 is equals to 2 over 1. And we just cross multiply. So that means b is equal to 16. All right, I'm going to solve here. Let's see, so I'm going to minus 4x, that cancels these out, so it gives me negative 8x. Then I'm going to minus 19, and then minus 19, so 45 minus 19 is going to be 26. So then I'm going to divide that by a negative 8, and I get x is equal to negative 3.25. So let's just check answers real quick. Negative 3.25, b is equal to 16, and then we have 12x minus 3. So 12x, so same thing I could do. If I wanted to rewrite this one, I could put the one with the variable out, so 12x, and then that would be, maybe I got, no, yeah, so it'd be 12x minus 3 here. All right, so let's keep going. So we're doing it by quarter here. So in my head, I can do it by quarter, but otherwise you can do it, just in your calculator. So a quarter of 16 is 4x, and then a quarter of 32. So I do 1 divided by 4 is equal to 0.25, and then I multiply that by 32, and I get 8. It's equal to x minus 16. I'm going to minus the x on both sides, so I'll have 3x, and these cancel out, minus 8, so 3x is going to be equal to negative 24, divided by 3, so x should give me negative 8. All right, this one, first, number 7, I need to combine like terms first, so I combine those, so I get negative 10y plus 4 is equal to 5y minus 41. Then I can bring the minus 5y on each side to cancel this out, so I'll have negative 15y, and then I'll minus the 4 is going to be equal to negative 45. So if I divide that, y is going to give me 3. All right, this one's, these fractions are a little more difficult. for number 8 because you can't cross multiply these. So I have to find a number that 5, 2, and 10 all go into, okay? So when I do that, I know they all can go into 10, so 5 goes into 10 2 times, so I multiply the top by 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times, so I can multiply the top by 5. And then 10 goes into 10 1 time, so this is just multiplied by 1. So then you know all the denominators are going to be 10, so I can just cross those out. So 2 times 2b is 4b, and then plus 5 times 5, or 5 times b is going to be equal to 5b, which is then equal to 9. So that gives me 9b is equal to 9, so when I divide that, b is going to equal 1. So for 6, I have -8, and then 3 and 1. -8, 3, and 1. All right, 9. Here I can cross multiply. Just make sure I have these parentheses right here. So if I write that, that's going to be 13 times 4h minus 6 is equal to 9 times 4h, which is 36h. So then I'll have 13 times 4, which is equal to 52h, minus 13 times 6 is equal to 78. Set that equal to 36h. Now I already have h alone on the right hand side, so I'll just minus the 52h on each side, which crosses that out. So 36 minus 52 is going to be equal to -16. So -78 is going to be equal to -16h. And then I divide each side by -16. So that's going to be a -78 divided by a -16. And I get 4.875. So h to the 4.7875. All right, so now we're converting. So I have 460 seconds to minutes. So I have, what I have here is 460 seconds over 1 is going to be equal to, and what I'm going to do is, I know that the one on the bottom is going to be the same as the one on the top left here. So that's how these work. And then how many minutes, because that's what I'm changing it into, how many minutes are in a second? So, I'm sorry, how many seconds are in a minute? So 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, okay? So then what I do is I cross multiply this way. So I'll cross multiply. So 460 times 1 is going to be 460, and then I divide it by 60 seconds. So 460 divided by 60 is going to be 7.6 repeating minutes. Check our answer quick. So 7.67. So we're good to go on those. And then 7 pounds to ounces. So I start with my 7 pounds. That's going to be over 1. And I set that equal to. And I know that my pounds are going to be in the bottom here, and my ounces are going to be in the top. So then you need to know how many ounces in our pound. So there's 16 ounces in 1 pound, and then I multiply across, not cross multiply. So 7 times 16 is equal to 112. So the pounds cross off, and I'm left with 112 ounces. And I know that's right because I looked at the answer key ahead. All right, solve each inequality. If the inequality has no solution, write no solution. So that's one thing you can do. You can also write all real numbers, or you can write infinitely many solutions. So this would be like 0 is less than or equal to 5n. Now don't get stuck here because you can divide by 5 to get n all by itself. So 0 divided by any number is 0. So is 0 less than or equal to 0? That's true, right? So that would be infinite many solutions. 13 I'm going to distribute. So I have -2b minus 2 plus 4 is less than, or is greater than 10. combine like terms, so I have negative 2b plus 2 is greater than 10. Minus the 2, I'll have negative 2b is greater than 8. I'm going to divide by negative 2, so that's going to flip the sign. So I'll have b is less than negative 4. So I have, that's right, so n is greater than or equal to 0. And then, so that one actually wouldn't be all real numbers. So if you can get this, you're fine. And then b is less than to negative 4. Right, so this would not be infinite many solutions because this would be n right here, sorry. That'd be n is greater than or equal to 0. So that would actually give you the answer right there. That's the answer itself. Now if you have, like, say, 1 is less than or equal to 1, that would be infinite many solutions because that makes sense. All right, so we'll combine like terms on number 14. So 5t minus 3t is equal to 2t minus 6 is less than or equal to 2t minus 4. So to minus 2t, and that's going to give me, that's going to cross it off on both sides. So that's going to give me 0. And then I'm going to add 6 to each side. And that's going to give me 2. So is 0 less than or equal to 2? That is true. So we would write infinite many solutions. Or all real numbers. Both of them are correct. All right. I'm going to distribute this in my head, but 1 minus 4r is greater than negative 2r minus 6 minus 4. I'm going to combine like terms. So I'll have 1 minus 4r is greater than negative 2r, and that'll be minus 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2r to each side. So I'll have negative 2r, and then that'll be greater than, I'm going to minus 1 on each side, negative 11. So then when I divide by 2, so remember the sign's going to flip because I'm dividing by a negative. So r, it flips, right? And then I'll have 5.5. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, r is less than 5.5. All right, solve each equation. So remember, when you have these absolute value bars, you have to have two equations. So we are going to set this equal to 1 minus 5a is equal to 29, and then 1 minus 5a is equal to negative 29. And then we just solve from there. So negative 5a is going to be equal to 28. If I divide by a negative 5, a is going to be negative 5.6. So then I'll have a negative 5a, and I'll minus that, so that'll be negative 30. And then divide by negative 5, so that means a is going to be equal to 6. So we have 5 points, negative 5.6 and 6. Good to go. All right, same thing over here. Here's the thing though, we need to get rid of this because we only want the ones that have the absolute value. So I'm going to minus the 8, so I'll have absolute value bar 3k plus 3, and that's going to be equal to 12. So then I set my two equations. So don't worry about this anymore. I have 3k plus 3 is equal to 12, and then 3k plus 3 is equal to negative 12. And then we just solve from there. So I'll minus 3 on each side. So 3k is going to be equal to 9. So k is going to be equal to 3. And then I'll minus 3 on each side, and 3k is going to be equal to negative 15. So then k is going to be equal to negative 5. So 3 and negative 5. All right, 18. I gotta get rid of this negative 15 because that's outside of the absolute value bar. So if I'm multiplying by negative 15 to get rid of it, I have to divide each side by negative 15. So I have 115 divided by a negative 15, and that's going to give me a decimal here. So I have negative 7.6. So here's the thing. If I have an absolute value bar of 4 minus 6k, and that's equal to a negative 7.6 repeating, there's a problem here, okay? And the problem is right there. It can't be negative because absolute value is always positive because all it's asking is how many spots away is it from 0. So this would be no solution. All right, same thing over here. I gotta go with the negative 4 and the 3, so I'm gonna add 4 to each side. So that'll give me 30, and then I'm gonna divide by 3. So 30 divided by 3 is 10. So I'll have negative 8k. It's gonna be equal to 10. So I have negative 8k is equal to 10, and then negative 8k is gonna be equal to negative 10. Then I'll divide, so k will be equals to negative 10/8. Now you could do it as a decimal or a fraction, but if it's a fraction, make sure it's reduced. So if I do negative 10 divided by 8, I get negative 1.25. And then over here, I'm going to do negative 10 divided by negative 8, so that's going to give me a positive 1.25. So no solution, and then positive and negative 1.25. All right, so now we're back to solving proportions. So we're cross multiplying. So 15x is going to be equal to 5 times 6 is 30. Divide by 15 on each side, and x is going to be equal to 2. I have to put parentheses around here, but then I'm going to cross multiply. So 6m is going to be equal to 20 parentheses 2m plus 4. Then I'm going to distribute, so that'll give me 6m is equal to 40m plus 40. And so from there, I'm going to minus 40 on each side. So it'll give me a negative 34m. It's equal to 40. I'm going to divide each side by negative 34. So 40 divided by negative 34 is going to be equal to, so m is going to be equal to negative 1.176. And it looks like I got that one wrong. Let me see what I did wrong. So this one's right. This one should be a negative 2.35. So the best way to do it is to just start over. Make sure I set my thing up right. So 6m is going to equal to 20 times 2m plus 4. And I already know what I did. 20 times 4 is 80. So it's going to be 6m is equal to 40m. And that's going to be plus 20 times 4 is 80. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll minus the 40m. That's going to be negative 34m. It's equal to 80. So I'm going to do 80 divided by negative 34, and I get m is equal to negative 2.352. Or 353, depending on how you round. All right, 22 parentheses around both of these. And when I cross multiply and set them up, it'll be 9 p plus 10 is equal to 8 p minus 7. Distribute, and I get 9p plus 90 is equal to 8p minus 56. Minus 8p on each side, so that'll give me 1p, and then I'm going to minus 90 on each side, so negative 56 minus 90 is going to be equal to negative 146. So that one was right, and that one's right. All right, so if the money used in Jordan is called dinar, the exchange rate is $3 to two dinars. So we have $3 to 2 dinars. How many dollars you would get if you received dinars? So dinars were on the bottom, or 65 dinars. So 65, and we're looking for X. So look, this is dollars over dinars, and it's going to be equal to dollars over dinars. So I'm not cross-multiplying here, so that's the thing. Oh no, I am cross-multiplying. So I'll have 2x is going to be equal to 3 times 65. That's going to be 195. Then I'm going to divide that by 2. And it'll give me 97.5. Now it says how many dollars? This is in a dollar form. I have to put the dollar sign and then add a 0, because that's 50 cents. So you should have $97.50. All right, a taxi charges a flat rate of $2.95 plus an additional 0.68 per mile. If Erica has at most $18, so that's all she has is $18 to spend, how far can she travel? So $18 is as far as she can go. She has less than or equal to $18. And then our equation would be $2.95 to start, right? And then we're adding 0.68 per mile, and we don't know how many miles there are, so we're going to call it X. And then we just solve from there. So I'm going to minus 295 on each side, so 18 minus 295 is equal to 15.05. So I have 0.68x is less than or equal to 15.05. And then I'm going to divide by 0.68. Gotta do that again. So x is going to be 22.1, and it's how far? So, and it's in miles, so we're going to do miles. So your answer is 22.1 miles. And 22.13 miles. I don't know why I had 20. Yeah, I was right, 22.1 miles. All right, 25. Chris wants to order DVDs over the internet. Each DVD costs $8.99, and shipping the entire order costs $7.99. If he can spend no more than $80, how many DVDs could he buy? So he can spend no more, so it has to be less than or equal to $80. And then we're going to set up the left side of the equation, so it's going to be $8.99, and then how many DVDs he can get is going to be X, and then we're going to add $7.99 for that flat shipping cost. So then from here we just solve. So I'm going to do 80 minus $7.99. It's going to be equal to 72.01. So $8.99x is less than or equal to $72.01. I'm going to divide that by $8.99. So it's going to be x is less than or equal to 8.01. So it asks how many DVDs could he buy. Well, you can't buy a 0.01 DVD, so the final answer would be 8 DVDs. So, like Mr. Cladis has in the answer key, so that's your answer, but you can't order a 0.01 DVD, so the final answer will be 8 DVDs. All right, solve this equation. This one is not supposed to be tricky to you guys. It's just supposed to give you order of operations. So I can get rid of this 6 right away, and I'm going to minus the 6 on each side. So 3 is going to be equal to z minus 8 over 4. Now you have a 3, and all numbers are over 1, right? So now you have your proportion, so you can cross multiply. So 3 times 4 is 12. Set that equal to, this is 1 times z minus 8, so it's just z minus 8. I'm going to add 8 to each side, so z is going to be equal to 20. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your test review. As always, if you have questions, email me. I will have my iPad at home, and if I don't get to it, if you email me at night, I'll get to it first thing in the morning. Or you can stop by and see when we're available to get some help before the test, or you can go to the math lab. So plenty of things to do to self-advocate. Otherwise, hope you guys have a great night. Thanks.